Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to demystify a really huge concept in the tech world, infrastructure as code. And we'll be looking at the main tool that makes it all possible for pretty much everyone, Terraform.
So let me start with the question. What if you could build your entire tech infrastructure? I'm talking servers, databases, networks, the whole shebang, not by clicking through menus for weeks, but with just a single command in a matter of minutes. I know, it kind of sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's the reality we're unpacking today.
But to really appreciate just how revolutionary this is, we've got to take a step back and understand the old way of doing things. Before tools like Terraform came along, managing all this stuff was a very different and very manual process.
I want you to imagine this. A team needs a new server. First, they have to file a ticket. That ticket then goes to a system administrator, who then might have to go talk to a network admin just to get an IP address, and then a storage admin for some disk space. Every single step is manual. It involves a bunch of different teams, and it takes time. A lot of time.
So, as you can guess, this manual process created some massive bottlenecks. Getting new features out to users took forever, because deployments were just incredibly slow. It was also super expensive, because you needed these big teams of specialized engineers. And because it all relied on humans, it was just riddled with errors and inconsistencies. You could ask for 10 identical servers, and I promise you, you'd get 10 slightly different configurations.
So the industry started asking this really powerful question. What if instead of treating our infrastructure like this fragile, hands-on hardware, we could treat it just like software? And that right there, that led to a fundamental shift in thinking. Your code becomes the blueprint for everything. And this concept, this is what we call infrastructure as code, or IAC for short. Now, don't let that official definition intimidate you. The idea is actually really simple. Instead of clicking buttons in a web console to build a server, you just write a file that defines exactly what you want. And that file, it becomes the one single source of truth for your entire setup.
To really get this, you have to see the two main approaches side by side. The old way, that was imperative. You'd write this long, complicated script telling the machine how to do every little thing step by step. It's complex, it's brittle, it's a headache. Terraform, on the other hand, uses a declarative approach. You simply write down what you want. Hey, I want one server of this specific type. And Terraform is smart enough to figure out all the how part for you. It's a total game changer.
Now, the tool that really brought this declarative approach to the masses is Terraform. It was created by a company called HashiCorp, and today, it's pretty much the industry standard for doing infrastructure as code. And the beauty of Terraform is its simple premise. You learn one common language in one consistent workflow, and you can use that to manage hundreds of different services. So whether you're on Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, the process feels exactly the same.
And its reach is just incredibly broad. It's not just for the big cloud providers. No way. Terraform has what it calls providers for almost anything you can possibly think of. You've got networking tools like Cloudflare, monitoring services like Datadog, even databases like MongoDB. Your entire tech stack can be managed with this one tool.
So how does it actually work? Well, the core of using Terraform is this really simple, super safe, and incredibly powerful three-step loop. It all kicks off with write. You just define your infrastructure in a configuration file. Next, and this is the most important part, the crucial safety step, you plan. You run a command, and Terraform shows you exactly what it's going to do, what it's going to create, what it will change, or even destroy, all before it actually does anything. And then, if you like what you see in the plan, you apply, and Terraform goes and builds it all for you.
Okay, so you might be wondering, how does Terraform know what already exists out there? Well, it does it through its state file. You could just think of the state file as Terraform's memory. It's basically a map that connects the code you've written to the real-world stuff it's already created. This is exactly how it can figure out what needs to change the next time you run a plan.
So, that write, plan, apply loop is fantastic for a single server, right? But the real magic of IAC and Terraform that really shows up when you need to manage complex systems at a huge scale.
Because think about it, you don't want to have to rewrite the blueprint for a standard web server every single time you need one. That's really no better than the old manual process we were just talking about. The real power comes from building a component once and then being able to reuse it over and over again.
And this is done with something called Terraform modules. A module is just a pre-packaged, reusable chunk of Terraform code. It's like a Lego block. Your team can create a standard, totally battle-tested module for, say, a web server or a database. Then anyone on the team can use that module to deploy a perfect, standardized version in seconds. This lowers your risk, speeds up development. It's just a win-win.
So when you put it all together, treating your infrastructure as code literally transforms IT. It goes from being a slow manual bottleneck into a fast automated engine for innovation. It lets you build, change, and version your entire environment safely and super efficiently. Which, leaves us with one final provocative question. In today's world, if your infrastructure isn't code, is it truly modern? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.